Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, December 6th, 2019. I cannot believe it is already the 6th of December. We are knuckle deep into the holiday season, and I am enjoying the hell out of it. Shout out to Roman and SeatGeek. The boys are in the building today for a feel-good Friday. We got Michael Lombardi joining us at 10:15. We got Brandon Flowers joining us in the second hour. Ian from SeatGeek, you might have seen him with the David Dobrik YouTube. This kid is basically a BTS K-pop star on the internet and marketing. We'll talk to him at 10:30. By the way, we said the date. It's Friday, December 6th. And this is the date that we can all officially agree. The entire world. It doesn't matter what team you played for in the NFL. It doesn't matter what allegiances you hold to somebody in the NFL. Everybody on earth agrees that the Cowboys stink.
Bear done.
Dead.
Michael Irvin last night on the NFL Network postgame show had some of the most hilarious reactions I've ever seen. This is a bad team. This is a bad team that played bad football, bad. He said bad like 6 to 7 times. And then you listen and watch the people talk about Jason Garrett from the Cowboys Nation. Everybody's wondering, how the hell is this guy still the coach of our team? Jerry Jones also probably wondering the same thing. Dak Prescott was hot or cold, but he got real hot there. That ball to Amari Cooper in the fourth quarter there was one of the nicest throws I've seen all year. And then that miss to Amari Cooper over the middle was one of the worst throws I've seen all year. So Dak wasn't his best. The Bears weren't their best.
Come on.
Somehow the Bears embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday.
Embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Embarrassed. The Cowboys. They are a bad football team right now. And don't worry about it because they can still win the NFC East and get a home playoff game. Their road goes through the Rams, the Eagles, stink, Redskins, stink. But both those teams and the Cowboys are all in it for the NFC East. Will Eli Manning play spoiler on Monday night for the Eagles? Who knows? We'll dive into all of this. We'll talk more football. We'll talk about the marquee games this weekend. We'll talk to Michael Lombardi, and we'll have a hell of a feel-good Friday. 1-833-622-3331. We've been doing a lot more phone calls once you get involved on this Friday. Evan Foxy, play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the McAfee Show.
It's hard not to. Welcome to the Pat McAfee Show, Friday, December 6th. Thanks to Chase Rice there for that incredible song. He's on tour. If he's in your city, go see him. Sitting on the casting couch all by himself, Boston Connor, how you doing, pal?
I am doing well. A little sore. How are you feeling?
We played basketball yesterday for the first time in 3 years. We ran 5-on-5 at the YMCA. It was to a game to 15, not to 11. A game to 15. Zito and I tapped at about 7 points apiece.
I was at 2 points.
Not a bad performance by both of us. At DJ Nick Moraldo, at Tone Diggs. Todd McComas is sitting in Ty Schmidt's chair, who's off on assignment in Boston with his future in-laws. Happy for him. He's having a day off for the first time in 5 months. Maybe he'll get some rest too. Let's see. Jason McAfee's on the ones and twos back there. Zito, Foxy, and our illegal immigrant friend Gumpy on the phones. All right, so last night a lot to digest here. This Bears team that looked so bad at football early on in the year that everybody was questioning how Matt Nagy was a head coach. Everybody was questioning how last year Mitchell Trubisky had the number 3 overall QBR and number 2 overall number 3 overall QBR for the entire NFL last year in a team that was on the rise, the team that everybody said this is the year that we could potentially win a Super Bowl. The defense was locked and loaded last year. Now the offense has another year of experience under Nagy. This team's going to go. They need a kicker. They worked out a lot of people. They called a lot of people. They had 7-8 different kickers in one day at camp. Our only weak link is our kicking position. They called some retired punters to go do it. But the Bears are this team that was supposed to take over the world. And the conversation about the Bears for the first 8 weeks was, wow, this team is garbage. Matt Nagy, how do you even get a head coaching gig? Mitchell Trubisky, what happened? The coach was telling Mitchell Trubisky, go watch the TV version so you can see how terrible you look with your body language. Go watch the TV version so you can hear what people are saying about you. Mitchell Trubisky said, turn off all of the televisions in the facility. I don't want to hear what people
He was
are
saving power.
Saving power, saving potential confidence. He had all the TVs turned off in the building. That's how bad the Bears were. Come on. And last night, Mitchell Trubisky looked like a damn good quarterback.
Looks incredible.
Mitchell Trubisky was making people miss. Mitchell Trubisky was making other professional athletes look like bad athletes. Mitchell Trubisky was throwing some great balls. Mitchell Trubisky looked like a guy that should be an NFL quarterback for a long time to come last night against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Chicago Bears are still in this thing somehow. The NFC, you're going to have to get a lot of wins. You're going to have to get a lot of wins, and the Bears' road ahead is not easy. You got the Chiefs, they got the Packers, and they got the Vikings. That is a very, very tough road if they want to do that. In the NFC, you're going to have a lot of wins unless you're in the NFC East.
They're going to have to win out.
But they're going to have to win out, and that's going to be tough because the Packers and Vikings are going to have to do the same damn thing to get the winner of the NFC North. But the Bears last night, if they could have played like they played last night in the last couple, maybe even against the Lions and David Blah, they would have been a team that would have lived up to the conversation that was happening before the season. Now they're at the bottom of the hill looking up, hoping to get in with a fan base that's like, damn, like we had this the whole time and now it's nothing. That was without Akeem Hicks too. So their team can even get better, which is something that is mind-blowing. And as a Bears fan, you just got to be like, what the hell are we doing for an entire NFL season? Why is it just now that we decide to play good football? And I'd assume as a Bears fan, that's got to be a bit frustrating.
Who's to blame for the first 7 games? Right, ultimately, because
we don't point fingers.
That would piss you off.
Well, you did point fingers, actually. And Nagy was pointing at the television, at Trubisky. It all happened. And the Bears, even though they're still technically in it, got a very hard road. But, boy, this is like what the Browns would do to their fan base, not the Chicago Bears fans.
I asked Ito this morning, like, is this frustrating knowing that if you played like this all season long, you'd be in this great position? He goes, nah, he's win game. Doesn't matter, win or lose.
And is Mitchell Trubisky your quarterback now?
Oh, he's always been my quarterback, you know.
No, that is
like
not
I said,
true. That is not true. All of Chicago turned their back on Mitchell
Don't let
Trubisky.
Mitch get hot. That's what I always said.
You never
And he-
said that.
Oh, yeah.
They used to wear those uniforms every game, by the way.
I know. It's my favorite
Looks
helmet.
good. Looks very
Even
good.
Mitch's interception was a tight spiral and a great catch on the sideline.
I agree. Dragged the toe. I thought his foot was on the end zone there. I guess it's where the ball is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that should have came out to the 20, but obviously.
The end zone rules are weird.
Very weird because you fumble in there. It's a touchback. You did this at the 1. But anyways, the Bears look like a good football team.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I've been saying it for years.
You have been saying it for years, and you've been wrong a lot in your life.
And I'm right now.
What's
Hand up on me. If I would have known that the Cowboys weren't going to try, nor tackle,
Shut up, Tony.
nor give Zeke the ball, really, I wouldn't have taken him.
Told you
Plus,
that
minus
yesterday,
12.
Tony.
We
You
all
don't-
Told you that yesterday. Eli Manning against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys weren't going to try.
He did.
Oh, because
He
they
told
knew
you.
that Eli was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
bury the Eagles. You don't have to get a win here on Thursday Night Football. And for that Cowboys team, they did just look terrible. I mean, not only did Mitchell Trubisky put up 30 points on them, but except for garbage time where they picked up all their yards and
Right.
points, I mean, I think Dak threw for 300 yards, which is great
Yeah.
for him statistically, but that's all garbage yards at the end. They got back in it, I guess, with a chance for a Hail Mary after a thing. You could say if you're a Cowboys player or coach, like, hey, for how bad we play, we're still in it, you know? But anybody that watches that outside of that building knows they got demoralized last night. And it's interesting because somehow if you're a team – you have to be able to put that aside because you still have everything in front of you. You still lead the division currently. You still can potentially go to the playoffs and maybe make a run. But it feels like that entire team, both the locker room, the coaches, and even the fan base, the owner, everybody is just at the point where they're like, this is not going how we thought it was supposed to go. We stink. And it's almost like Cowboys fans and Cowboys alum are embarrassed with what's being shown. And for me, Jason Garrett, I think he got some work done to his face, by the way, which I respect. Hey, if you're going to get on TV all the
limelight.
time, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I respect it a lot. He looked younger than he had in past, but he looked more miserable than I've seen him in a long time. And Jerry Jones put a lot of pressure on him, 2 weeks ago? He said, hey, we just want to win some games. They've lost 2 in a row now. So whenever he said, we just got to win some game, Jason Garrett is obviously gone from the Cowboys.
He was trending last night, too, wasn't he?
Fire Garrett was trending last night, like number 12 in America or number 13 in America on Twitter. There it is. Number 13 in the United States was fired Garrett last night after the game. That's never good, especially for a coach. Is that the first time that's happened for a coach that's leading his division?
Probably.
Probably. He's got no shot. The Cowboys stink.
They lost the last 2 games the exact same way, too.
same way.
First drive, right down the field, take the lead, and then they're done for the rest of the game.
What happens there, you think, right? Because everybody goes like, well, that's your scripted plays, but your scripted plays are supposed to affect the rest of the game play. So the reason why you're running scripted plays is to see how the defense is going to react to certain formations, certain bunches, certain things like that. And if you find success with every single play, it felt like they were finding success. It was like a 15-play drive, like 7 minutes or something. Longest opening drive of the
17,
season.
I think.
Yeah, 17. Longest opening drive of the entire season in the NFL. It's like, how do you not? Okay, let's take that, all right, and let's just, so this worked, and this worked. Let's just go ahead and let's get rid of all of it.
Let's stop using Zeke. Yeah, let's just stop.
Yeah, they fall in love with the pass.
They script the run.
Yeah.
And they dominate with that. Like, Zeke was gashing the Bears early with
Yep.
runs.
Yep.
Of those 17 plays, he probably had 8 carries, and then he ended with 18 carries or something like that for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and he had like a 14-yard up the gut. It looked like
Yeah.
Zeke, and he even
Yeah, yeah.
even started rolling, right? It felt like we hadn't seen that a lot. The only people that have been doing the Zeke feed me bowl with the first down have been the opposing teams because they've stopped him. The only people we've seen doing that all year has been the opposing, and he got going early. It's like, all right, here we go now. We're going to get this team going. We're forced to watch them on national TV every single week. We are literally forced to talk about them every day in the show. We get an email saying, hey, must have obligatory Cowboys talk today. And then all of a sudden, they just go away from it. And that team just looks lost. They look like they had uninspired. They look like all this stuff. And I don't know how they turn around. And it feels like this is going to be potentially Dwayne Haskins' division to win. Eli Manning buries the Eagles. They get demoralized up there. Dwayne Haskins just continues to feel good about himself. He's got to go into Packers this weekend, you know. I mean, I'm a Packers guy. It's tough for me to say this. I guess just for the bid, I will. Dwayne Haskins is definitely going to get the win in Green Bay. With Green Bay, it's tough to say that. But that is how bad the NFC East is.
Jason Garrett's getting a lot of heat. What about the offensive coordinator? They've regressed with a new one this year.
Well, Kellen Moore, I mean, obviously. But Dan Orlovsky, if you were to listen to Dan Orlovsky talk, he says that he thinks Jason Garrett gets his hands in there, and Jason Garrett's the one changing it. But nothing tells me about Kellen Moore that he isn't going to be a ridiculously pro-passing offensive coordinator. Like, nothing looking at him in his past, in the way everything goes, and his friendship with Dak, doesn't tell me that he's going to be a pro-passing quarterback, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of pro-passing quarterbacks. But when you have a guy you just paid a lot of money to in the backfield that can change games and dominate games, it's hard to get away from that. And I would assume Jerry Jones sees that as well. He's like, excuse me, we paid that guy who went to Cabo for training camp a lot of money.
And didn't cramp.
And you just continue to not give him the ball. Is there any way we could potentially be on the same damn page so maybe we can win a game every once in a while? I'm tired of answering questions, Jason Garrett. I liked you for a long time. I hate you right now, Jason Garrett. I bet you that's how Jerry Jones feels, and that's how he felt last night. He's got to be so mad about the lack of Zeke. Has to. He's paid him a lot of money.
A lot of money.
His hands do not get cramps when he's writing checks. He's proven that, he says. And they paid Zeke. And it has not been a Zeke central offense, and they have failed. And that's just the way it
Especially when you see success with Zeke to start, and then you stop
Every
giving him.
time. Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. We got to get to a break. We got Michael Lombardi on the other side. I'll be excited to hear his take. He's been bashing MVP Mitch for a long time. That's what he calls him. He calls him MVP Mitch. Last night, Mitch looked like if he would have played this way for every game, which is very difficult to do, obviously, especially if you're going to run, you potentially get hurt, could have been an MVP conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Not anymore. Looking Don. Bear Don. Michael Lombardi on the other side, 1014. You're listening to Pat McAfee Show. Well, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 10:19 Eastern Standard Time, 7:19 Pacific, 9:19 in the Central Time Zone where Chicago is with a big win last night over the Dallas Cowboys. Joining us now to talk about it is a guy who's been a general manager in the NFL. He's been a commentator. He's written books. He's a smart guy. He's a gambling guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
How are you?
Hey, it's good to see you FaceTimed us this week. I heard you wanted to do another phoner, and I was about to slap you.
No, I'm so impressed with your picks last week. That was remarkable. I stood up, gave a standing ovation.
I did hit a 16 parlay plus 51 hunch. I felt very good about it. I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to win strictly because Andy Dalton was the only excited person to be on that field. So I honestly thought that. And then I thought the Steelers were going to win strictly because of our guy Duck. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about why the Cowboys stink. I mean they stink. And last night they looked like a team that wasn't even trying for most of that game until garbage time when they came back a little bit.
Well, look, they start the game off with a great drive. That's a game plan drive. And then when they have to make adjustments, I think Warren Sharp had a stat that Jason Garrett has won 4 games in his entire 10-year career when trailing at halftime. They just don't make adjustments. And I think the Cowboys are poorly coached, and I don't think it's just offensively. I think it's on defense too. Troy Aikman was saying, or should I always say Hall of Famer Troy Aikman?
Thank you.
Okay, Hall of Famer Troy Aikman was saying last night that, they don't disguise their coverage. It's a high school coverage. It's a cover 3 high school coverage. And Mitchell, give him credit, made enough throws to win the game. So, look, I think this problem is deeper than Jason Garrett. I think this is really Jerry Jones wanting to run the team. And since he's lost Jimmy Johnson, it hasn't really worked.
I don't like how you just said Mitchell there and not MVP Mitch, which is
I apologize. MVP Mitch looked like an MVP last night. That's 2 weeks in a row. This is the worst thing for Bears fans.
That's what we just said. But my entire open was the fact that Bears fans last night, even though they're still in it, right? So that gives them a little bit of hope for the next couple weeks. We're still in this thing. We could still make a run at a wild card or whatever. They're still believing that. The fact that last night they played like a team that was being talked about going into the season. Everybody was talking about the Bears. 1 kick away last week, a double doink away last year for making a real run. This team's going to be back with more experience and blah, blah, blah. And they have stunk all year. And then last night, they looked like a legitimate team, Mr. Lombardi, like a legitimate squad. And Mitchell Trubisky, MVP Mitch, looked like a stud, moving outside the pocket, running, shaking people, making throws. Even his pick was a tight ball. It's just one of those things where if I'm a Bears fan, I'm so confused on what the hell happened for the rest of the season that has already happened.
Right, but I think you have to wait for the rest of the year. When he plays against good defenses or coordinators who are going to attack him in certain ways. I mean, the last 2 weeks he's played against a very vanilla Detroit Lions defense that he carved up in the second half. And then last night he played against the Dallas Cowboy team that I think really, and if you want to call a spade, they quit. They just they have not. I mean, they're quit. They're just not playing for the coach. Jerry can say he's not going to fire Jason Garrett, but the team has already fired him.
Whoa. Hey, that was a deep one right there. that was a deep comment right there. You know,
Their play is reflective of it. You know, I mean, look, if there was ever a time where fear does the work of reason, last night it was the time. You had to be fearful. Look, you got a 1-game lead on the Eagles. You could win this. You could turn your season around. And Bill Walsh used to say this all the time. You can't plead with teams. You've got to instruct teams. And I think that Garrett's been pleading with them for 3 weeks, and they're not hearing him.
That's interesting you said that because Rex Ryan said on Get Up on Monday, he said, whenever I used to do my dumb stuff, my team would show up for me. He was talking about Freddie Kitchens wearing that shirt and then they lose in Pittsburgh. It was like the team didn't show up for him. I think the disconnect between a coach and a team can really do some damage, and it seems like that's the case in Dallas.
No doubt. I think it's pretty obvious, and I think you can see it. And I think you have to look. We all have to see the symptoms. But the fact that Garrett has yet to string 2 winning seasons together in a row, has only won 2 playoff games in 10 years, I think we kind of know who he is.
Who's the next Dallas Cowboys coach, and when's it going to happen? Not till the offseason, obviously?
Well, remember that scene in Zero Dark 30 where Jessica Chastain goes over to the thing and starts writing numbers down on the board?
Yes.
And circles it, right? Remember that scene?
Yes.
Well, I think all Cowboy fans are counting the days to the end of the season doing exactly the same. I think Jason gets fired the day after they lose, whether it's the first playoff game or whether it's the Philadelphia game. He loses in Philly, he'll be fired on the plane ride home.
Really? Is that
He's already fired. I mean, Jay Glazer reported on Fox, and I think he's completely accurate, that unless Garrett wins the Super Bowl, he's not coming back.
Who's going to coach for the Cowboys? Who will want that job? And will Jerry Jones ever relieve himself from being in outright control? Like, what coach will want to go in there knowing that Parcells has tried it, all the way through Jason Garrett now? Like, that's Jerry Jones' team, and you're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah, I don't. That's a great question. I think he'll want someone like Josh McDaniels to come in and run the offense and figure he can do his thing. I don't know if he'll get him. I think Kevin Stefanski's done a really good job up at Minnesota. I could see him being interested in him, a young, bright coach who knows how to move the football effectively, and then Jerry can keep the defense in place. I think it'll be an offensive coach. I think it'll be a coach that Jerry feels like can call plays and run the offense, and then he'll sublet the defense out.
And what happens with Dak?
What happens with who?
Dak.
Dak? Oh, I think they re-sign Dak. I think the whole thing is it's going to be, let me get a really good coach in here to coach Dak, and we'll make Dak even better.
Okay, so you're 100% certain. We talked to a guy that was the writer for the Cowboys at The Athletic, and he was like 99.999% Dak is a quarterback for the Cowboys for the long term. You feel the exact same way?
Yeah, I think there's no way. I think Jerry sees his team as poorly coached, not poorly constructed. And I think he's going to pay for Dak. But I think he's going to pay for a quarterback coach to be the head coach to make sure the offense doesn't falter. I mean, they can't get the ball to Amari Cooper. They can't do any. I mean, can you imagine last night on that wheel route? I don't know how Hall of Famer Troy Aikman didn't say anything, but on the wheel route they weren't synced together, right?
Yeah.
Troy's saying, well, you know, Alale, that's his first time back on the field because Tony Pollard wasn't in there. Wait a minute. The best receiving running back on the field is Zeke Elliot. Why wasn't he in the game?
We have so many questions.
That scares you the most.
Hey, we have so many questions. In that first drive, Zeke got the ball 8 times. Throughout the rest, for the entire game, he had
19 total carries.
19 total carries, and he was getting hot, too. And it felt like he was really starting to feel it. You know, he had the spoon in the bowl with the first down, and then they just went completely away from him, and Jerry paid him. You have to think that Jerry knows, like, hey, I paid this guy, and you're choosing not to use him. That has to be a direct shot in the face of Jerry Jones, is it not?
It really does. I mean, or it's a shot that Jason doesn't understand, that his team needs to go through Zeke, not through Dak. And they have done nothing creative for Zeke at all in that offense. They've done nothing creative for it. Like the first third down after the score was tied, he's got Zeke on a crosser against man-to-man coverage, and Dak throws the out, almost gets intercepted. Like, you got to know what you're doing here, and I think they give away plays, and I think that's where Jerry's going to come in from.
Are you ever going to get back into GMing or anything like that?
No, I mean, once I got fired for Ryan Grigson ripping me off on Trent Richardson, I just, that was the end of my career. That was the end of my career. Because I'm not, as you could probably tell, I'm not politically correct. Like these guys, to get a GM job in the league, you've got to be able to play the political game correct. I'm not very good on that.
I'll tell you what, in the TV world, it's the same damn thing, though. Foxy and I flew to probably 15 different states to shake people's hands, and I've decided that I'm never going to do that again. Like, if a job requires that, I'm 100% out on it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, look, let's just take Jacksonville. Jacksonville, since 2010, has had double-digit losses for all but one of those seasons, and yet they keep their infrastructure in place. Like, nobody in there saying that nobody's telling the truth. David Caldwell has more first-round picks on the Rams than he does on his own team.
So is that a job you want? It sounds like you want that job.
No, I don't want any job. I'll tell you, I think the really good owner when you read David Tepper's comments on what's going on, I think he's a really good owner. I think he's really good. I think he's really what we want in an owner. I think he's thoughtful, he's analytical, and he knows what coach he wants. That's somebody that you want to work for. You don't want to work for somebody who's, gets a phone call from the league office and says, you should probably get a better GM. Like, you can't do that. It's impossible.
The Ron Rivera firing has been something that I think every professional sports team, not only in football, I'm talking everywhere, would wish would go as well. Ron Rivera has been very professional about it. David Tepper has been very open about it. They both want to go in different directions. They want to try different things out. Both have accepted it. And I think the thing about Ron Rivera being on the fired already is any team that was thinking about potentially firing a coach is now like, hey, we know at least Ron Rivera's out there, and that guy is a winning coach. His stats say it. His record says it. If we can get a team for him, he'll be good. Does that make people want to pull the trigger more, you think, on firing a coach and moving on to a new regime so you don't look optically as if you're complacent with losing?
Right, and I think what Tepper did was he said, look, I'm not going to go behind Rivera's back and start talking to people. I might as well fire the coach and then go talk to people. I'm going to be an adult in this conversation. Rivera then was an adult in the conversation. Too often we have too many guys sneaking around. They're going to fire this. I mean, there's right now going on in the league. I would say 30% of the teams are thinking about firing their coordinators, and they're trying to hire another coordinator, and they're already manipulating trying to get that coordinator. So there's a lot of backroom politics going on that isn't healthy for the culture.
How does that happen? Like text, because people probably can't reach out to people that are under contract at other places. So you got to reach an agent or a third party. How does that all work?
Like say a coordinator's contract's coming up, right? And you want to fire your defensive coordinator, and his contract's coming up. You call the agent up and said, hey, do not do anything with that team. We're going to be heavy players in that deal.
How like right now that's happening, or you think it has?
That's happening right now. Sure, without a doubt. None of that stuff that comes out on Black Monday was ever just on Black Monday. It's all been going through, and agents are manipulating it. And when you go to the Senior Bowl, everybody knows what's actually going to happen in the next few days. It's all done beforehand, and with agents involved, there's the great Oliver North plausible deniability. Nobody can say I've done anything. I haven't talked to anybody.
I love that. Plausible deniability has been said to me a lot, by the way. When the WWE gave me an open microphone in an arena, they said, we don't want to hear what you're going to say, strictly for plausible deniability. Just go out there and just do what you're going to do. All right, let's move on to this weekend. There's a couple marquee games now, okay? Ravens at Bills. I think now Todd Stat McComas here told me yesterday the Bills are 14th against the rush. They're getting 5.5 at home. Do you think that the Ravens are just going to go ahead and do the damn thing up there in Buffalo in front of Bills Mafia, a group of humans that we absolutely love here?
I love the Bills Mafia too. I love their fans, their passion. I think, look, the Ravens have played really good defensively. I think there'll be a problem for Josh Allen. I think that's going to be an issue. But more of the bigger issue is the fact that the Bills have allowed almost 5 yards a carry against a really weak schedule in terms of teams that run the football. So I think the matchup favors Baltimore here. I think Baltimore will be able to run the football, control the clock, and do some damage in the game. I didn't recommend it as one of my picks, but I like Baltimore.
So we're not hammering that? I had the hammer out.
I don't want to. I got one I want to hammer. I picked 4 games this week. I like San Francisco.
Okay, the Niners. Who are they playing? The Saints.
The New Orleans Saints. And here's why I like them. I think the 49ers have played really good defense the last 2 weeks. They've given up under 5 yards per pass attempt. They've been active with their defense. Their offense can run the football effectively. And the Saints are going to be without 2 of their starting offensive linemen. This ain't a game you want to play without your starting offensive line.
So that you're hammering that?
I'm hammering the Niners. I'll take the points in the Niners.
Okay, plus 2.5 right now. You can get the Niners at FanDuel. Chiefs and Patriots. Patriots offense has been nothing to really write home about, but they're 10-2 in that game against the Texans. They only lost by 6, and they played awful on the offensive side of the ball. Somehow, Belichick, Ernie Adams, McDaniels, defense coordinator's name is
Bill Belichick.
Steven Belichick. Somehow, they have figured out a way to win games when 2 out of 3 of their phases have been dominant, and one of their phases hasn't really been off and running yet. How do you feel the Chiefs and the Patriots fare in Foxborough, which is a very, very difficult place to play, that Gillette Stadium?
I think the Patriots will be the better team. I think they'll manage the game so that they can minimize Mahomes on the field. They've got, and I think they can run the football on this Chief defense. I think they'll run the ball. I think they'll play. The Chiefs will think they'll play a lot of man coverage, and I think the Patriots will be able to get away from man coverage. I think they know what they have to face. I think there's no better team, as you said, at figuring out what they have to make in the adjustments. And I expect Sanu to have a better game. He's healthier. I expect Dorsett to have a better game. And I think Edelman will play well. I like the Patriots in this game.
Hammer?
Hammer.
Oh, my.
Let's go.
Patriots -3 at home against the Chiefs.
I like it. I really do. When does Belichick lose 2 in a row?
Well, you can't lie there. All right, Seahawks, Rams. Somehow the Rams are -1 in this thing. What am I missing? You're an Italian. You're probably dialed in a little bit more. You do a lot of the gambling conversation. You're over there in New Jersey. I assume you have your ear to the ground. Why on earth are the Rams a favorite against the Seahawks?
I think because when you watched the game the last time, they should have won up in Seattle. Zerline misses the field goal late in the game. I think that the Rams will move the football effectively. I think Seattle's pass rush on the road against Jared Goff really won't bother him as much. And the Rams can attack this secondary pretty well. They'll get after this secondary. They'll move the ball. And I think the Rams with Jalen Ramsey will play better defensively against Russell Wilson. I like the Rams. I really do. I know I'm a contrarian on this pick. I like the Rams. I think it's the Rams' best. It'll be the Rams' best game of the year. It fits perfectly for Goff. Goff is like Trubisky. They'll play well in games when it favors them. And this secondary for Seattle, I think it favors Goff, and I think it favors the Rams' attack. Just like last week, I hammered the Rams against the Cardinals. I thought it was the perfect matchup for them, and it was one of my hammer picks last week.
Well, so I respect that and appreciate that. Made a lot of money. The Rams, Sean McVay came out and said, the reason why Todd Gurley has been getting the ball more is because he hasn't been an idiot, his exact words. And Todd Gurley was asked about McVay's comments about not being an idiot, and Todd Gurley said, hey, he said it, not me. That's all I got to say about that. So this whole load management and degenerative knee issue, has that really been the problem, or what has been the issue with why Todd Gurley hasn't been getting the rock until very recently here with the Los Angeles Rams?
A lot of people tell me he struggles to practice, so maybe McVay feels like if he can't see him in practice, he can't put him in the game. And I think that they get a little too pass happy. And I think what happens is they get, their offensive line hasn't been as good. Now they've made some changes with their line. They feel better about those changes, and they've been able to run the football in a different manner. I think people have played their outside zone better, and I think they've changed their running game, especially last week against Arizona. I think that's given them some comfort. They've done some strategic things to help their run game, and Gurley's been healthier.
Well, yeah. Has Gurley been healthy this whole time? Gurley has said on numerous occasions that he's ready to go. Mm-hmm. That's what Gurley has said. He's always said he's ready to go. It's always been an interesting, I don't want to say PR battle, but it has almost been like a PR battle on why one of the best players in the league last year, like by far one of the best players in the league last year, hasn't been getting fed this year when they had a lot more success last year than this year. I would assume the team wouldn't be lying, and maybe the players just kind of resting his knee, but that seems like a big-time PR problem in my eyes.
Well, I think he has been hurt. I think they've been masking it really well. I hear he doesn't practice as often. And I think the wear and tear on him has worn him down. But now he's fresh. I mean, they haven't really utilized him that much. And now in the month of December when they need him, I think they're going to ride him. And look, we know this about Seattle's defense. You can run the ball on Seattle. Seattle at home gives up over 5 yards a carry in the last 14 games. You can run the ball on Seattle.
You know what? To Sean McVay's credit, at the beginning of the year, he said this is what they were going to do. They're going to rest Todd Gurley until later in the season. But everybody was saying, including myself, was like, hey, you might wait and save him for a time that doesn't matter. Like, it might not matter in December, but they've stuck to it. And if they ride Gurley, I'm excited to see their success. Okay, so you got the Ravens. You didn't hammer it. You got the Niners hammered, Patriots hammered, Rams hammered. Who's your fourth?
You're going to hate me for this, but I'm going to go Arizona against our Duckster.
That's not a bad pick.
Oh, come on.
Steelers have been terrible on the road against bad teams.
But why? They're not a bad team, by the way. They played bad last week.
Cardinals?
But they played a lot of close games. I mean, they have played a lot of close games with a rookie head coach.
I think the maybe Cliff Kingsbury breaking up with Holly Saunders. Did you see she's dating that Vegas guy there now? Maybe he's regenerated his ideas. Have you seen this now?
Vegas Dave, yeah, I saw it.
I didn't know that.
Information to you.
I did not know that.
Knowledge of information.
Hey, that's pop culture talk right there. So Cliff
There you
Kingsbury's
go.
now
So,
single. By the way, hold on.
You guys will do a much better job at understanding that.
Okay, Rory McIlroy was in a relationship with somebody. They broke up. He became the number one golfer in the world. Myself, I was in a relationship for a long time. We broke up. I became the best punter in the world the next 2 years. These are things that can happen. Revenge bodies are real. Revenge seasons are real. Cliff Kingsbury, look out for the next 12 months. I heard he's a real grinder. I think the Cardinals are going to get hot. But why do you think they're going to beat Duck Hodges? Duck Hodges has been a guy that has revamped an entire city's belief in a team. Duck Hodges is a guy that has worn a For the Brand hoodie to a University of Pittsburgh basketball game and a Pittsburgh Penguins game. Duck Hodges is a guy that's out shooting ducks with his wide receivers. Duck Hodges is a guy that's a potential MVP candidate, and now you think he's going to go lose in Arizona.
I just think, to me, the matchup favors the Cardinals. I think they'll throw the ball. I think Kyler Murray will be healthy this week. I think you can move the ball on Pittsburgh if you can protect, which I think they will at home. And if they secure the edges, I just think Arizona is one of those teams that they play better after they get beat bad. And I think they'll come back. I'll take the points at Arizona. I won't hammer it, but I'll take the points.
All right, so 49ers, Patriots, Rams, Cardinals. Mr. Lombardi, I can't thank you enough. You're the best, buddy.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
I don't love that you just won against Duck, though. I mean...
I'm sorry. I mean, it didn't make me feel good, but I just feel like it's the right situation.
What is your record on the year?
36-19-1.
Is that good?
Is that good? I don't know. You tell me. It's 65.1%. I get called an idiot on Twitter every day. I mean, I must have 5 tweets, direct messages about MVP Mitch last night. You see, you were wrong, asshole. You were wrong. Yeah. These are really intellectual conversations we're going to have here.
It's all right. Somebody tweeted me of an Urban Meyer fan who had told me I had a flimsy leg. So, I mean, there's idiots on the internet everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's not an idiot, Mr. Michael Lombardi. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Cheers. Oh, man. I think we thought the Cardinals were potentially going to lose or win anyways against the Steelers. It just seems like this
every single year they go out west and they lose to a terrible team. They did it last year, the Raiders. I don't agree with them for the same reasons because the Cardinals have not been able to protect Kyler Murray the last few weeks, and the Steelers have been the number 1 defense the last 10 weeks. But
no, they had Aaron Donald last week.
Well, yeah,
But Steelers D-line also very, very good. Nothing to sneeze at.
TJ Watt, AFC Defensive Player of the Month.
And Cam Hayward is maniac of a man in there. He is an absolute beast. So that could be a problem for him, but Kyler Murray can move. I don't know. We'll see. Patriots -3 at this point.
Love it.
That's insane to me. But everything he said, I'm like, yeah, you're 100% right. Is Bill Belichick going to lose 2 games in a row? No way. Will he win by more than 3? I don't know. 49ers at the Saints. That's a tough place to play down there. But if you're without 2 offensive linemen for the Saints, that could be problematic, especially against that Niners front 7 or whatever it is. And then the Ravens at the Bills. I think everybody's turning the page on that one, which kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Kind of scares me, by the way, that everybody. Bills are +6. That's a lot of points. And the fact that the Ravens are going to be able to run the ball, though, is problematic potentially for that Bills.
You talked about 49ers last week had to play a 1 p.m. start in Baltimore. They have another 1 p.m. start again this week, but they stayed in Florida. Good idea?
I think so, too. But it's in New Orleans, right? That's Central Time.
Yeah, it's still 1 p.m. Eastern start.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, same type of thing. I don't know. Because that is something, though, by the way, whenever you go away, it's like a bowl game. So your team kind of gets rid of all the distractions. You kind of get a chance of kind of camaraderie. But that's also changing up a schedule, which is a routine-based league, the NFL. So I don't know. We'll see if it works out.
Niners are 4-2 against the spread away as well.
I like that stat. Hey, you Canadians, pretty big degenerates, huh?
You got it, pal.
Hey, let's go. 1041. News flash. You can manscape without fear thanks to Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. You will feel fearless and fresh with Manscaped line of products, starting with the Lawnmower 2.0, Diggs.
Love it. It's the best.
It has proprietary skin-safe technology. This trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. Plus, the crop preserver and anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. I mean, why wouldn't you put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? It's time to man up and stop using the same trimmer on your face as you do on your balls. It's disgusting. Thanks to Manscaped, manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. Feel fearless, feel fresh, feel fine when you use the right tools for the job this time. Your balls will thank you, and so will your wallet. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AMERICA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Let's beat drop. Oh, that was a quick one. I thought we were going to have a little delay there. Use code AMERICA for 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. By the way, Lawnmower 2.0 is no joke. Hey, it's legit.
Love it.
Makes you feel very good when you go willy-nilly on your willy-nilly. Shave your entire bottom half if you'd like.
No fear.
No fear at all. We'll be back on the other side with a marketing genius, people are saying. A guy who's been a friend of us for a long time. Our first and original sponsor, Ian from SeatGeek. You might have heard of him. We'll be back on the other side of the Skyline Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 10:48 Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, December 6th, 2019. Feel Good Friday. Wrapping up the first hour here. Nick, what are some things that we missed? Some notable news.
First of all, you need to know notable news is brought to you by Manscaped.
Hey!
Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code AMERICA.
Hey, tell them we appreciate that. What's some things that we missed?
North Korea is threatening to resume insults of Donald Trump and consider him a dotard if he keeps using provocative language, such as referring to Kim Jong-un as a rocket man.
By the way, for those that are new to the show, I would like it to be known that this show was on Kim Jong-un before the national news was on Kim Jong-un.
Way before.
I went to Los Angeles one time. It was my first time in Los Angeles. And on the news, there was this guy from North Korea that was drawing up arrows for where he was going to bomb. And Los Angeles was the first place. And I was like, do I have to be worried about this guy? I went on a 2-week bender of learning about who Kim Jong is. One of the most incredible trolls to ever exist on this earth. Terrible human. Terrible person. Great troll, though. Excited he's starting to spark back up into the news conversation.
It's always good for us.
Always good for us. By the way, R.I.P. Sia Japan was number one on a list for a while. Song that Raptivist made that I was a part of.
Banger. Odell Beckham Jr. said on Thursday that he doesn't know what the future holds or how long he'll remain in Cleveland, but he tweeted out today and said, I never said I was not happy in Cleveland. Just like everyone else, I'm hopeful for better results, period.
A lot of people are thinking he's potentially getting traded after the year because they got a lot of money in him, and there's going to be a new coach, new whole system. But I think Odell Beckham has handled this entire year of failure with a great humility and great professionalism, which I would assume nobody expected.
Would make a great Colt.
Or a Patriot.
Or any team other than the Browns or the Cowboys or the Bears, I guess. Even though the Bears looked like a great team last night. Last one.
McDonald's is putting its name in the fried chicken sandwich wars after debuting a brand new sandwich in Houston and Knoxville on Monday this week.
They already have the McChicken. McChicken, great sandwich too, by the way. It's $1. It's cheaper than every other sandwich.
legend.
The best. It's a legendary sandwich. It's potentially the OG chicken sandwich. They
Yes.
need to get over it.
Don't chase your competition.
Hey, by the way, that Popeye's chicken sandwich, I tried it for the first time the other day.
Oh, yeah?
I was on to John for an hour and a half. Must have been me. I don't think it was them. But all right, join us now. Speaking of marketing, McDonald's trying to get in there. A guy who has mastered digital marketing in the year of 2019. He was our first ever sponsor, our first ever friend, a guy in this business, a good dude, and now he is a famous guy. He's got 12,000 followers. Shout out to him. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from David Dobrik's YouTube, Ian from SeatGeek. Yeah, boy, Ian.
Thank you.
You came out to Indianapolis for Big Ten Championship weekend, about to have a time of your life, I assume.
Yeah, on air McAfee.
Hey, you did
First PJ experience.
Hey, I'm happy you're on a private plane. There's going to be plenty more for you. I assume you're going to be talking to TED Talks at some point.
Yep.
You're going to be a guy that is going to be talking about marketing, because what you've done with SeatGeek in utilizing digital marketing is something that no other company has done to the extent that you have. You've taken a company that was just a ticket platform and turned it into the ticket platform via influencers and digital marketing. So my question to you is this. Yes, McDonald's is going to try to get in the chicken game. They're already in it. But what is the key to good marketing in the year 2019 in your eyes, Mr. Ian from SeatGeek?
Authenticity.
Good
so
word.
it's a great word. So I think if you look at like the marketing space, you get bombarded with Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads every single day.
Yep.
Every single day you're getting hit with these ads, and honestly, like those ads are now people just see right through them.
Yep.
They don't actually click on them anymore because they don't actually care. So for SeatGeek, what we do is we really want to concentrate on the people who actually can move audiences. So when we looked at Pat, 4 years ago when we partnered with you.
Yep.
We saw there's a guy who's just going to get on his first podcast, and we knew right away Pat could move audiences. So if Pat's going to show up, we always say, if somebody could show up in Central Park, would people actually care to see them? Would they go out of their way to see that person? Because that person has actual influence.
Wow.
Hey, that's a deep thought right there.
You actually care what they have to say. And so I'd rather partner with those kind of people than buy 1 billion impressions on Google or do a bunch of banner ads. I'd rather partner with people who actually people care about.
Which, by the way, ad agencies have been feasting off of this for a long time. And this might be a little bit too insider talk, but this is going to crush on the internet, so I'm completely okay with that. We'll be back in like 8 minutes with more sports talk. But the ad agencies are almost going to get to a point where they're going to get phased out, I think, strictly because they live off of impressions that are not real impressions. In our business, you got to be able to actually generate things. And that's why our listeners and people that follow along are so damn important. It's not something you can just buy like people used to think in the past with marketing.
Yeah, you can't just buy impressions. You can't buy that authenticity. And the biggest mistake people do when they do partner with influencers or endorsers is they give you this really formulaic script. And I'm sure you love these scripts.
Oh, I love them.
And these scripts are great. They're about 3 pages long. They have about 3 reviews. You sound exactly like a walking robot.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing because nobody really cares what you have to say. They want you to feel like you're a part of the ad. And so what Pat does and what the best influencers do is they make their ad their own because no one's going to tell your brand better than the endorser. They can speak much better to their audience than you ever can.
Hey, and SeatGeek, SeatGeek is the best ticket buying platform on planet Earth and the moon.
I mean, you can't buy that. I mean, we did, but we quite literally did, but like you can't buy that. If you have these very formulaic ads, it's just not going to work.
I agree, and we're very thankful for what you've done for us. I mean, literally, when we were at Barstool, you were our first sponsor. We learned a lot at Barstool. One of them is, hey, having and doing above and beyond for your sponsors because they're investing their company's money in you, so make sure you take care of them. Whenever we went on a loan, you were the first person that was like, hey, you've done a lot for us, we'll do a lot for you, and it's been I've been very, very thankful. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys have been great. I mean, to have that like personal connection with an influencer like yourself is just different because the ads are going to come off different. The authenticity is going to be different. And the minute you have an ad agency in between separating you.
And by the way, we hate them. Like the ad, because exactly what you said with the ads. They write down there like, in this tone, read this. I'm like, I'm not an actor. What do you want me to do? Act like, hey, are you nervous? Like
no, you want it to be part of the content.
Yeah.
Your ad, people like listening to it. People tweet us it all the time.
Well, we're very thankful that you're here in Indianapolis. Have a great time. Congrats on the engagement, by the way.
Thank you.
I have a question. Did you have a lady in your life before you got famous with David Dobrik?
7 years before David.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey,
David kind of got a lot more DMs popping, but I don't look at those. I've been wifed up for 7 years.
Hey, well, we appreciate everything you've done for us. Very thankful you joined the casting couch. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian from SeatGeek. We'll be back on the other side with much more sports talk, life talk, and Feel Good Friday. Also, phones, 1-833-622-3331. This is the Pat McAfee Show. We will talk to you soon.
Yeah, they're on. Thanks.
It's the perfect occasion for mental vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Well, you're damn right, Chase Rice. He's on tour right now. If he comes to your city, go and check him out. He's handsome and he sings good. That's all country music is these days anyways, handsome and sing good. Joining us on the casting couch is at Boston Connor. How you feeling, bub?
I'm feeling well. I'm just hoping the Patriots can figure out the kicking game this weekend.
Yeah,
huh?
Jake Bailey's doing it all?
I hope so.
Stanford kid, he's smart. He's got a big leg. I'd assume he'd be able to pull it all off. Can't be any worse than what you guys have had, though. No. I mean, honestly, can't be any worse. I think that's going to start happening a lot more. If your punter can halfway decent kick, like, let's just give him a shot because whoever we're pulling off the street is probably going to stink. I mean, that's just the way it has been here. And I don't know. We're going to have a for the brand, what's that called? Like
convention?
Like a gathering where I'm like, hey, guys, okay? There's really good guys, and we appreciate the hell out of you, both in punting, kicking, and long snapping. But there seems to be a larger amount than normal of just terrible guys. And I know you're good. I know you're good at what you do. We just need to hone in a little bit. You know, we need to have a seminar or something. Say, hey, listen, for the first time in a long time, there's somebody out there screaming about kickers and punters right now. And I happen to be that guy. Mm-hmm. So whenever you guys aren't doing your end of it, like, I get buried. Now, granted, there's a lot of guys that do incredible things, but for me, I just hope next year we have a much better year collectively for the brand, because that is a conversation that needs to be had.
Is it a bad thing, though? Because if you become one of the elite, does salaries start to rise for guys like that?
No, see, the issue is whenever it's supply and demand, my friend. Oh, you're right. You're 100% right, actually.
Less consistent kickers.
Now that I think about it, unless they all, the NFL, which I think they do and they have been doing, it's obvious with who they choose to be commentators and other allocations. They'll have a decision to make about how much max we're going to pay the kickers and punters. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, positionism has been happening a long time towards kickers and punters. Let's assume the business has been doing it. Yeah, they're a bunch of positionists. It's 2019. It's about time to get rid of positionism.
Wake up.
Come on. But also, said position also needs to perform a bit better. I mean, that is something we need to have happen. It's been an off year for a lot of people, but there's also been excellent, like Justin Tucker on yesterday. Kid's incredible. There's a lot of really good guys. Jake Bailey's been very good. I'm excited to see how he does kicking the ball. Hope it doesn't mess up his swing. Oh, my God. Is that something to think about? No, it's not. It's two very different things. You shouldn't even worry about it. At Nick Moraldo's on the ones and twos. Fresh haircut, high and tight. You look good, Nick.
Yeah, thanks. Wanted a low fade, got a high one. That's fine. You know, you don't always get what you ask for, but you just take what you get sometimes.
You posted a photo on your Instagram at Moraldo412 of your dad.
Good plug. Thank you.
With a mullet. And if you don't try to grow a mullet stat, and try to look half as good as your dad, I think you're making a massive mistake.
I don't think it's possible. I don't think I have the strands left to pull off something that majestic.
Oh, we got our guys roaming here. They can help you out. We can really get things
call. I'll
going.
talk to them.
Yep, absolutely. At Tone Diggs is here. Diggs, your hair's about to say, yeah, I quit too, but that beard has never looked so good. That was Gumpy. Gumpy's already.
Doesn't have one hair on his head.
Not a single hair.
That's why I can laugh. I'm already cooked.
Hey, pal.
If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Yep. What's that mean?
Yep.
That's Tom McComas. Great to see you. Jason McAfee, Zito, Foxy, and our illegal immigrant friend that's firing shots at Diggs is on the phones, 1s and 2s, 1-833-622-3331. The phones are working now?
Yes, sir. Dolphin special teams, incredible this year.
Absolutely. Hack, the punter, very, very good. I got a chance to kick with him this offseason. He impressed me more than anything else. Mr. Sanders, very good. And the first time in the history of the game, a punter threw a touchdown to a kicker. Miami Dolphins have a very special place in my heart. Incredible. I mean, last year, their coaches are doing lines off the table. This year, punters are throwing touchdowns and kickers. Overnight, B-flow, Adam Gase out, B-flow in. Things are happening. Maybe if you keep a couple of your good players, though, maybe even better since you do have Fitzmagic. I mean, something to think about maybe before the season. But, hey, who am I to talk about a team playing bad?
Playing good, no.
Well,
They got rid of Kenyon Drake. That's what it was, the Drake curse.
oh, yeah, and then Minka Fitzpatrick, a defensive MVP.
Well, I mean, they got blown out literally 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but
What
hey,
happened last week,
Ryan
Tony?
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick has been great.
Oh,
What
he's great.
What have you done for me lately? Dallas Cowboys?
Stink.
They absolutely stink. We have to talk about this because it's the first 15 minutes of the hour, so we might have new listeners. Just know that we, just like the rest of the world, very much understand that although they're currently leading the NFC East and have a chance at a home playoff game, that Dallas Cowboys team stinks. I've never seen a team in the middle of a game just seem to absolutely quit. When things were going so right at the beginning, they had the longest drive of the NFL season. They were feeding Zeke, got him the ball 8 times in a 17-play drive that took up
A lot of minutes.
9 minutes, I believe.
50-plus yards on the first drive for Zeke, 30 the rest of the game.
As a team that just had a chance to really start building something and do good, knowing that the nonsense and the chatter has been happening around them, not only because they're the Dallas Cowboys, but because they have underperformed massively, they decided to do a complete pivot from their first drive, and they absolutely stink for 3 quarters until garbage time comes. And then when garbage time, they pick up some yards, Dak threw for 300, they get back in the game. So in the locker room, they can say, well, we were still in it. We had a chance at our onside kick, maybe take a shot. You never know what's going to happen in an NFL game. Instead, the rest of the world saying, man, what has happened in there? It seems like Jason Garrett has lost the locker room. Seems like the locker room doesn't give a damn. It just feels like Dak Prescott, who everybody is saying that knows things, that he's going to get very paid, is out there trying to do it all by himself. He was hit or miss last night. I think he got hot there late, but he was cold a little bit early. And that team is just bad through and through. And it's only a matter of time before Jerry Jones says, hey, Jason Garrett, take a hike. And I'll be excited to see who wants to get that coaching job, because that's Jerry Jones's world. Who wants to go into Jerry World? The name Josh McDaniels was thrown around the last hour by Michael Lombardi. You think Josh McDaniels is going to want to go in there and just listen to what Jerry Jones has to say about personnel and everything like that when he's coming from Belichick's operation? I'm just not 100% sure. There would have to be agreement where, hey, Jerry, I'm allowed to do what I want to do. If I want to do this, I can do this. If I want to hire this, I can do this. And who knows if Jerry's going to want to do that. Remember, Jerry has built that franchise to be the #1 sports franchise in the world. They had success a long time ago. It's going to be very hard for Jerry Jones to ever admit that he could potentially be making things worse for the team. That's going to be tough for Jerry. Jerry's not a guy that would like to admit that, especially with how much success he had. It would be tough for me to admit that if I was as successful as Jerry Jones has been as well. But he could be a potential problem in hiring a good coaching candidate in my eyes. So are the Cowboys screwed forever? Wow, who knows? Oh, my God.
Let's not give the defense a pass either, because Chicago's 29th in total offense this season, and they made the Bears look incredible on offense.
They absolutely did. And I almost tweeted out how much of this is the Cowboys looking terrible, but how much of it is the Chicago Bears finally playing how they were supposed to play football. How much of it is Matt Nagy deciding to use Mitchell Trubisky, who Todd said this morning that – say what you said again.
About Trubisky, if you All right, let's say aliens abduct Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Later today. He's gone from this planet forever, playing for some
By the
Space
way,
Jam alien team.
The humans are upset because that's our most athletic guy we got right now.
Space Jam aliens
Exactly.
definitely would take Lamar.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
that's who they would come for. Say that actually happens, and the Ravens are without Lamar Jackson. If they could get their hands on Mitch Trubisky, plug him into that offense, that team does not miss a beat.
Not a single beat.
Not a single beat.
That's what
Two
Trubisky.
greatest athletes to ever play the game.
That's what Trubisky looked like last night. Trubisky was making people miss. Not granted, Lamar probably has like 200 more yards after if he was to play last night than Mitchell Trubisky. But that offense is what everybody's been saying who knows anything about football. Like, hey, last year, Trubisky was number 2 in QBR, number 3 in QBR. He was outside the pocket. He was using his athleticism. He was a little bit mobile. And this year, they've just been having him park it right in the pocket. It makes no sense. You can't park it in the pocket with Mitchell Trubisky. You can't do that.
Mitchie Scoots?
Mitchie Scoots?
Let the boy run.
You talking about Scootsy Trubisky? No way. Get him out there. And he looked good last night. But if you're a Bears fan, what'd you just say?
Run, Forrest, run, but run, Mitch, run.
Oh, because you better run, Mitch, run. Hey, you put a B in front of that. That's an entire. That's what I thought you said. I was like, whoa, you're going to have to Mitch a little hard there. But it's real. That team last night played how everybody thought they were going to play all season. Going into the season, you might forget because there's been so many hateful words said about this team. Going into the season, this was a Super Bowl pick. This was a team that was one double doink, doink, doink away, which was a block kick, which Cody Parkey never gets credit for, that they blocked that kick. If they don't block it, it goes in. They make a run. This was one missed blocked kick away from making a real run last year. Got everybody back, basically. They got experience now. They kind of understand the system. They're off and running. The defense is humming. And they have flat out stunk. I mean, they have been a very stinky football team. And then last night they show what they can do. And if you're a Bears fan, you're like, all right, we're still in this thing. And then whenever they make a run for it late, but they don't get enough, you're going to have to sit through an entire another year of Nagy and Trubisky. And who knows what's going to happen? Will they be like last year? Will they be like last night? Or will they be like the rest of this season, which has been a terrible football team?
Do you think that Mitch saw the graphic of him and Tom Brady very similar, and he was like, wow, I am the GOAT. And he just opened up.
As a guy that had everybody saying he looked like he lost his confidence, his head coach even said he looked like he lost his confidence, made him watch a TV copy. If you lose your confidence, what's a great way to get your confidence picked right up? Be compared to the greatest quarterback of all time, saying you're doing better than him.
Yeah.
What if the television networks that Mitchell Trubisky wanted off the TVs in the facility is actually what turned around Mitchell Trubisky's mindset?
Love it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow. Now we're saving lives.
Still stinks for the Bears team, though, or Bears fans.
How much of this is on Nagy for going away from what worked last year?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. And by the way, let's not skip over the fact that just a couple weeks ago he benched Trubisky in the fourth quarter in a game without telling Ryan Pace. What?
Hip flexor.
It wasn't a hip flexor. It was
Hip bone. Funny bone.
Yeah,
Hip
whatever.
pointer.
They were bad, though. But there was a guy that called in yesterday that said, you know what's going to happen tonight? The Bears are going to win by, what did he say? I think he said
$1 million.
I think he said like a lot. And he said, I'm going to call back tomorrow, and you all are going to have to say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie from Chicago. Eddie in Chicago, what's up, pal?
Eddie Pinheiro.
What's up, guys? I hope you're having a good day. You know I am.
Hey, you got to feel very good.
I'm wearing my Pro Bowl Mitch jersey today. You know, I'm feeling good about myself, and I'm feeling good about my team. Bear Don, the Cowboys stink. The Bears are on pace. And I have to say sorry for the Vikings right now because they're not going to make it to the playoffs this year. The Bears are. And that's a guarantee for me. The Bears have always ran on confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in 1985 when they released Super Bowl shuffles 7 weeks before the Super Bowl. And right after a loss. It's just confidence. That's the whole thing that the Chicago Bears are built off of.
All right, Eddie. Yesterday, hold on, Eddie. Yesterday, you said, I get these things right. Whenever he said, hey, I'm calling in, Chicago's going to win tonight by 2 scores, blah, blah, blah. We all laughed in his face. You said Eddie Pinheiro. This might be Eddie Pinheiro on the phone. Might be a guy on a team. Diggs went on to say Cowboys minus 12 because Eddie said what he said. Eddie has not been wrong on our show. He
has not.
And he's saying the Vikings aren't going to make it and the Bears are going to go on a run. Are you talking about a Super Bowl run, Eddie?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Eddie, why did it take this long for the team to look like the team was supposed to look at the beginning of the year, Eddie?
I think it has to do with Matt Nagy, to be honest with you. I think he's starting to get fired up. He's starting to get his team ready. And listen, in the press conference before the game, I watched those things. He said, there's some problems for the Cowboys that we're going to expose. Not word for word, but he said that. And he usually doesn't say that about most teams. So I was like, it's going to be a blowout. And, I watch his show every day. So I was like, I got to call in and let my boys know what's going to go on.
Hey, we appreciate that. I bet on the Bears +3. Diggs took Cowboys minus.
Did?
Yeah, I did. Because of you, Eddie, because you said I normally get these right. I believe you.
Now I'm going to say thank you to you and for believing in me.
Eddie, shut up. That's not very touching. That was very nice. We had a moment, but I don't need that right now.
Speaking of bad for the brand, Mar. I'm done with him. He cost me quite a pretty penny last night.
Why? What was your bet?
There's always this bet for each game. Each week, it's great. Each team scores a field goal and a touchdown in each half. It's always like plus 3,000. Yeah, I hit one this year. If Mar makes that 42-yarder in the first half,
that was in. By the way, that ball was going in and then goes out and then comes back in. By the way, but in the time from the upright to the net, that thing came back in. That has to be one of the most frustrating kicks I've ever seen.
I put 50 on it. Plus 2,000.
Well, because everybody has been talking about this Meyer guy being a problem. He has 10 missed kicks on a season. The only kicker to have that. He missed some on Thanksgiving Day. His job was in jeopardy. He hits that ball. It's going in. Think about his life right there. That ball looks like it's going in. He's like, all right. And then it just does like a little whoop, whoop. And he's like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Like a perfect 60-yarder.
He's not living right.
He's got a big leg, too. He's hit some bombs this year.
Yeah, 60-yarders. He has a couple. Yeah, he has 3 60-yarders in his career. He's a massive leg. He'll probably get fired. He'll end up somewhere else and get hot somewhere. But, man, that is a heartbreaker. As he said afterwards, too, he thought he hit every ball.
Yep.
He kicked a kickoff out of bounds.
Hit every ball great.
Hey, Brett, you hit a kickoff out of bounds. And then he hit another one that was supposed to be plopped up in the middle, and he kind of hit it fat and kind of went down, which makes me think that there might be something up with his hips or something. There might be something off because he was hitting the ball fat a little bit, which is what happened on that ball that goes outside. But I understand what he was saying. I thought I hit every ball well. He just wasn't talking about that kickoff that he kicked out of bounds.
It's all in the hips, baby.
They also had 4 kickers trying out there this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He knew the heat was on him. That's why when that ball is going in, and then it just takes a turn like that is that poor guy. He saw his job just. He saw his job literally just go.
Right with the wind.
Probably an eighth of an inch on the ball where he hits differently. That ball probably goes in. Probably just right down the middle if it goes in. If not, instead he just saw his career just.
Real tough.
That is tough. And for Diggs, sorry to you too, man. The
I
guy
mean,
lost
it
his job
happens.
probably. Sorry to you.
He'll be all right.
Whoa.
You won't.
No, we'll be fine.
So what is it? A field goal and a touchdown in each half
For each team.
Oh, each team has to do that. Wow.
Kind of odd.
Sounds great, right?
The only
Sounds
thing the only thing that missed last night was a Cowboys field goal in the first half.
Oh my God! It's plus 3,000.
Last night was plus 2,000, I believe. Plus 3, right around there.
Are you a big time prop bet guy? Yeah.
No, just that one.
That you love that one.
Yeah.
Because it seems obvious.
It seems like
especially in this scoring NFL that we're currently in. Now, although the defenses are getting hot, but in the scoring NFL that we're in, you have pretty good faith. But the brand this year has been all over.
It's always one field goal somewhere in one half.
And by the way, this builds up the hatred for kickers even more. Like these are the types of things that happen. Like listen to what you said. You said Brett Maher owes me.
Seahawks and Vikings. I think Dan Bailey missed one.
See, look, you hate him just strictly because of that. This poor guy. Dan Bailey's probably had a great year this year. I think he's done a lot better than he had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But, boy, he ruined your life. I mean, it's a tough position. I have no idea why I thought I wanted to do that this year. I have no idea. Let's go to Justin in Texas. What's going on, Diner?
Hey, not much, man. Cowboys stink, so I'm not really happy about it.
Hey, they do stink, Justin. Hey, Justin, they stink. I mean, it is at a point where everybody on earth is saying the Cowboys stink. And it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault other than I think that it's just a messed up relationship. Sometimes your shtick can wear thin on a team, and potentially we're at that point with Jason Garrett being there so long. Look, they looked unmotivated last night.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Look, I'm from Irving, so I have a lot of silver and blue in me. But so the Patriots wide receiver core needs a lot of help right now, obviously.
Oh.
And only 2 people have more touchdowns since 2010 than Dez Bryant. What do you think are the chances that the Patriots go check him out? And if they don't, who do you think is more likely to get in first, Dez Bryant or Antonio Brown?
Great question. That is very interesting to me because Dez did have he went back to the Saints last year, tore his Achilles, right?
Almost a year ago at this point, which
That
is
is a tough injury, especially if you're older. The Achilles is a very difficult one. And Dez has shown videos of him working out, running routes, and things like that. But I would assume the NFL is a be who you can afford to be type league. And the person that Antonio Brown was being there for a while, he couldn't afford to be with no matter how good he was. He's kind of gotten quieter. He's starting to say sorry. He's taking pictures with Tom Brady. I think somebody in a desperate situation is going to pull the trigger on Antonio Brown and just hope that you can get the Antonio Brown that doesn't have all the off-field distractions. I think that's going to happen before I think Dez will get a shot, especially coming off an Achilles. Antonio Brown, I still think, has a chance to get signed this year.
Yes,
I
for
still
sure.
think there's a chance Antonio Brown gets signed this year.
super surprised if he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's still a chance he gets signed this year. I don't think Dez will get signed until the offseason. I think people want to work him out. They want to put him through some stuff because of the Achilles. That's what I think personally, but I could be wrong.
Like, just behave for. Hey, we sign you, AB. Do you think you just be quiet for a month?
Hey, man, you think maybe till February?
Till the playoffs, we get a Super Bowl.
Lock it down.
February
good.
6th,
Like a month,
maybe.
man?
Just kind of put the phone away. Maybe we'll get you a flip phone. Andrew Luck had one.
Could the Patriots bring him back, you think, or no?
That's what I'm. That's what.
Hey,
I
Robert, I know
Yeah.
I said that thing about you and the massages, and
But didn't somebody say that there's a backdoor conversation happening between Antonio Brown and the Sun? I don't know if it's true. Somebody, by
Yeah,
the
they
way,
suggested it.
let me put a big asterisk on. I have no idea if this is true, but I have heard that there's a chance that Kraft's kid was talking to Antonio Brown, said, "Hey, listen, you need to make it right with my old man. You need to do this. You need to apologize and all that stuff." I have no idea if that's true or not.
heard it too.
But it does. You heard. Zito, you can confirm that you heard that.
I can confirm,
You
yes.
can confirm that I heard that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because you heard it as well.
I also heard it.
Still have no idea if it's true or not.
Let's put an asterisk on it.
Yeah, big asterisk.
Asterisk.
Do you have a Zito fact of the day? We haven't done this in a while.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, here we go. We'll get to a phone, then we'll do a Zito fact
Okay.
after the day. Let's go to Ryan in Minnesota.
Hey, boys, how we doing today?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you?
Ryan! Yep, I'm here. Sorry, that doesn't work. I just wanted to say the Bears do still suck.
Oh,
We
shut
have a
up.
phrase in Wisconsin. It is the Bears still suck. We have a polka song that's called the Bears still suck because it's always true. They're always going to suck.
Let's hear
Nobody
it.
would have even watched that game last night if it weren't for the fact that Thursday night college football on ESPN
Ryan,
isn't even on
Ryan,
anymore.
Ryan, all we want to hear is that Bears polka song. That's all we want to hear.
Now with a kick drum.
The Bears still suck. The Bears still suck. They really, 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 really suck. Yes, the Bears still suck. Dun, dun.
Keep your
Oh, you want to hear the polka
That's
song
cool.
from the city that I'm from? I'm from the town with the great football team. Go on and get them Steelers. That's all I know. I can remember. All right, well, good luck. You think the Vikings are going to make a run here or what?
No, not a chance. I'm actually a Packers fan. Packers owner.
I appreciate that. Let's go to Robert in Utah. Robert, tell me what I need to know about the Utah Utes before the big game tonight, because I have openly said that I have not seen the Utah Utes play a lot of football. I wish I knew more about them. I think the Oregon Ducks could potentially get a big Pac-12 championship tonight, which opens the door for Baylor to get a big win to get into the college football playoff if LSU beats Georgia. A lot of things have to happen.
Well, I don't watch a lot of college football, so I wouldn't actually be able to tell you that.
What do you want to talk about?
But I did have a question for you, Pat.
Okay.
We all know that you retired from the NFL because there could only be one cool punter in the league. Now, I need to know, do you hold resentment against Marquette King for squandering that opportunity, or do you think the pressure got to him and you just kind of feel bad for him?
But great question, by the way. I don't know why Marquette's not on the team right now, by the way. I have no idea. He was hurt there when he was at Denver. He's a friend of ours, friend of the show. Friend of the show. He makes a couple bangers. Friend of mine. I've known him since before he got into the NFL. Big fan of Marquette. I have no idea why he's not in the league, though. I think there was an interesting exit from the Broncos, which could potentially have spoiled conversations elsewhere. He has a massive leg. I'd assume he potentially gets another workout somewhere. I think he's in the XFL. I think he's signed with the XFL. I think. I'm not 100% sure. And I've gotten a chance to kick that XFL ball. If you hit it, it can go. But it's a thinner ball. It's a thinner ball. So that means a lot more misses. So look for returners to potentially have a big game. I think Marquette, though, will get back. Massive leg.
He's
Good
on the
athlete.
Battlehawks. He'll be kicking the exact same ball that you were.
Yeah, he's with the Battlehawks. The XFL will be a showcase for him, the showcase that he can be back. At Denver, he didn't do as good because I think it was a different style of punting, more directional stuff. But I think he'll get back in the game. I'm happy for him. Dylan in Indiana, what's up, bud, before we get to a break?
Not a whole lot. How are you guys doing?
Not too shabby. Little feel-good Friday. Hit the phones on a Friday. How you doing?
Good. So, first things first, was that Diggs that caught that football one-handed in that video?
D1 athlete.
Fortunately, a lot of people thought it was Zito.
He might get an NFL contract before Kaepernick does.
Oh.
That was beautiful.
Hold on. Wait a second.
There's a pass.
Hold on. I'm so sorry, Dylan. Let's wait 1 second here. People are saying that was Zito?
Zito's girlfriend's dad thought it was Zito.
Bro. Keto stat.
Tough, dude.
Oh, my.
Yeah. But you know how like you go to the amusement park and you can't fit in the roller coaster because you're too fat? That's what happened on the video.
What are you calling Zito?
Whoa. What do you mean?
Yeah, this isn't a good look for anybody.
Yeah.
Zito
You
included
shut up.
here.
You dropped so many balls.
All right, Dylan. Sorry. That was our XFL testing thing. Thank you for watching it, Dylan. You're the man.
But thanks, though.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about?
So, I am a completely different Bears fan than Eddie, who called in earlier. I'm still skeptical. I'm in a real rough spot. Do I give Mitch another year and hope he shows some sort of improvement?
Yeah.
Or do I hope that Raiders second-round pick that we have, because we ain't got crap in the draft this year, but do I hope that they keep falling, and hopefully Jake Fromm will be available for us to pick up?
Okay, Dylan. Great question there. I think you give Mitch, another 5-10 years? Yeah. What do you think?
If they let him run like they're doing right now, he's going to be awesome.
He's still cheap for another year.
Yeah, he is. He's on his rookie contract. I think he shows glimpses of greatness, which with a rookie contract QB that you take early is something that you're looking for. But at some point, you're going to have to hope that it gets consistent. Let's see how he closes the year out here, by the way. If Nagy and him have come to an agreement on what style of offense to run and he continues to do well, I think they're going to be forced to give him another year, especially because I don't think Pace is going to get run out of town.
No.
I think Nagy's going to get run out of town before Pace. Pace and Trubisky go hand in hand. He has a lot of faith in him. Drafting him over, we know, Patrick Mahomes and Sean Watson. So I think you got to at least give him one more shot here. But if he would have closed the year how he started the year, I would say get him the hell out of here. We've already learned. But last night's got to give you just a little glimmer of hope if you're in Chicago, and that's a gift and an absolute curse.
It feels like Mitch is in that same boat that happened with Jameis and Mariota, where you get your 4 years, but they don't pick up your 5th-year option. They see how you do in that 4th year before they decide what they're going to do.
Yeah, I'm excited, though. Zito, you're all in on Mitch, huh?
Yeah, so Tony said something last year where his eyes are too close to
No, beady. They're very beady.
And I saw yesterday when there was an offsides and he didn't see it because his eyes weren't like a little far, you know?
They're like just like Romo's. They're just too beady and
They're like shark size.
It's his downfall.
All right.
I mean,
I like him.
Rex Grossman took the Bears to a Super Bowl.
Oh,
People
but he was a
forget.
stud.
People forget.
What did Jay Cutler? Did Jay Cutler?
he was the
ever-
greatest Bears quarterback of all time.
Yeah, good hair.
I'm a Jay Cutler guy. Always have been.
New jewelry out.
Had that awful injury in the playoffs that time.
Don't.
Hey,
don't.
I don't like
do
that they forced him to stand out there in his pads. He should have been de-padded.
Urlacher had his back, and Urlacher did not get along with him, I hear.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Because the hair.
Because the hair. Break-ins spike every single year during the holidays because families are traveling and burglars know people have expensive gifts just lying around. That's why Simply Safe is my choice for home security. Simply Safe is comprehensive, professional home security at a fair price. And right now is the best time of year to get a Simply Safe security system. For the holidays, they're giving listeners a huge discount on your security system and a free security camera. Simply Safe protects every room, door, and window with 24/7 professional monitoring. If there's a break-in, Simply Safe can give real-time video confirmation so police respond, listen to this, Diggs, up to 3.5 times faster.
That's very quick.
With Simply Safe, there's no contract, no hidden fees, or no fine print. Prices are fair and honest, starting at just $15 a month. Go to simplysafe.com/Pat. Now take advantage of Simply Safe's amazing holiday savings and get a free HD security camera. This offer is for a limited time only and it's ending soon, so hurry. That's simplysafe.com/Pat to save big and get a free security camera. Simplysafe.com/Pat. You know the porch pirates are out.
Oh, they're the worst.
The porch pirates are out. And now that we're living in a society that is only being delivered to your front door because shopping and shipping has been made so easily, protect yourself from the porch pirates that are out there trying to steal stuff to buy drugs with. Get a Simply Safe camera right now at simplysafe.com/Pat. We love Simply Safe.
Easy. Simple.
Simply Safe caught one of our employees in the office who's sleeping here at 2:30 a.m. I had some vitamins in him and took an airsoft gun and lit up our refrigerator. So Simply Safe, just any site of movement or anything like that, just turns on immediately. You just go into an app and you got a HD view of everything. It's home security made easy. It's home security made cheap, $15 a month, and it's home security made fun because you get a chance to see everything. We'll be back on the other side with Brandon Flowers, I believe.
Yep.
You're listening to the Batman. Oh, double guns. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 11:33 Eastern Standard Time, 8:33 Pacific, 10:33 Central Standard Time. Joining us now is a man that was a corner for a long time in the NFL with the Chiefs and the Chargers. He's a Pro Bowler, friend of the show, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Flower.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on, Pat?
Hey, where are you at right now, man?
Still down in Derry Beach, Florida, enjoying this 70-degree weather right now in December.
Okay, well, I can respect that. It's actually like 40 to 50 here in Indy right now. It's nice. We have a little summer and the winter happening for us right now. It's not.
Yeah, I still can't handle the 40 now that I'm retired. I stay down here in the 70. That's the lowest I need to go.
Did your trip to San Diego when they were San Diego Chargers make you soft? Because Kansas City's cold as hell, and you were there for a long time.
It was very cold in Kansas City. That's why I was like ready to get out of there. It just goes back to the beach weather in San Diego, so that was perfect for me.
Okay, let's talk about that Kansas City defense, one that you used to be on. Now, granted, a lot of things have changed. They got new players, but it's still Kansas City is an incredibly powerful offense right now. But that Chiefs defense seems to be coming alive at the right time. They take on the Patriots this weekend at Gillette in Foxborough. Do you see any chance of success for that Kansas City Chiefs team?
I definitely think Kansas City will walk out of there with a victory. You know, sometimes the Chiefs defense struggle, you know, on the outside lanes at corner. But I feel like the Patriots receiver, they're not getting separation. Tom Brady is frustrated because he don't have anyone to throw the ball to right now. I think they'll come in there with the same game plan as Romeo Cornell, double the running back, double Edelman in the slot, and let your cornerbacks just play ball on the outside. And you know Pat Mahomes is going to put up points. I just don't know if Brady can put up enough points with the supporting cast to keep up with him.
What about the run game, though? Sony Michel can get going. They got James White, sweet. He started playing well last week. I don't know why they haven't featured him a lot more this year. That seems to be a mistake, but it's almost like they found him. You don't think maybe the run game and keeping Patty Mahomes off the field, which has been a recipe for success for other teams this year, you don't think the Patriots will be able to do that?
I don't think they'll be able to do it because of right now. I think it sounds crazy, but the Chiefs are going to make Brady beat them. I think they're going to do whatever they have to do to stop the run, stuff the box, and make Brady beat them on the outside. These receivers got to step up. And until they step up, teams are going to make these receivers step up to win games.
Okay. Hey, in Foxborough at Gillette, this Chiefs team with Alex Smith, the quarterback, obviously a couple years ago, was able to get a win. It was the first week of the season, so the Patriots aren't the Patriots. But the Patriots did lose just about a week ago. And now a very talented team's coming in there. I will be mind blown, Mr. Flowers, if that happens. I think the world awaits in excitement. All right, let's pivot to the Chargers. Okay, you have a little bit of history there. Before we talk about the rest of the NFL, which I'm sure you're well versed on, but you played for the Chargers. You played with Phillip Rivers. There's been no extension conversations. They've kind of fallen off the face of existence and relevance. Last year they had a hot run there. Everybody thought they were going to go on a run. They lose to the Patriots by like 70 or something like that in the playoffs. What is the state of the Chargers right now? What is the state of Phillip Rivers? And will Tom Brady be a Charger next year?
Oh, man, the Chargers, they always have a great team on paper. And, you know, I think Phillip Rivers had hurt the Chargers this year, just turning the ball over at an alarming rate. And I think the Chargers are not going to extend them until possibly they're going to try to hang on to after the draft. If they can get a quality quarterback, they might have a top 10 pick the way they're playing right now. So they might have a shot at a quarterback that they want. If they can't get the quarterback they want, then I think they extend them. If not, you got to go with the young guy because they have a team around, you know, the quarterback with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And we don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to be there, but Austin Eckler, he's running the fight out of the football. So I just feel like they have to just see what they can get in the draft because quarterbacks don't grow on trees. So if you don't have anyone that can replace them with a team that can possibly win now, you got to extend them for maybe 2 years, but give them guaranteed money in the first year where it's really a one-year deal.
Well, I think they would have to do that before the draft. I think they would have to have a game plan before then. Do you think anybody else would want Phillip Rivers? Do you think Phillip Rivers is done with? See, in my eyes, and I might be completely wrong here, Phillip didn't even want to move to Los Angeles from San Diego. He was driving, right, the entire time. Do you think he wants to remove his family and go somewhere else, or do you think if it's not the Chargers, it's nowhere for him?
He's going to retire a Charger. You know, he's not going to want to move on to another team, learn a new culture, learn a new locker room. I really just think the Chargers are going to not wait until the draft to depend on what quarterback is going to get. I think they want to see what draft pick they have.
Gotcha.
If they can stay in the top 10, possibly get in the top 7, I think they like their chances because there's only, 3 teams ahead of them that might need a quarterback, which is going to be Cincinnati, maybe Miami, and
Ryan
more in there somewhere.
Hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, let's
But yeah, man. I mean, I think Phillips going to retire a Charger. I think his time is, he had a great run. I just think it's coming to an end right now.
The last time we talked to you, Lamar Jackson was, I think, just heating up. I think he was just getting started. Now, the Lamar Jackson show with Greg Roman pulling the strings in the proper fashion, instead of throwing the ball 40-plus times, they're in the mid-20s. They're utilizing his unique, incredible ability to make people miss. How do you feel about that Ravens team, and are they stoppable?
Man, this Ravens team look good. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Lamar Jackson is making smart decisions with the football. The tight ends are his best friend. He don't have the best receiving core outside, but he makes it work with Hollywood Brown in the slot. He's an extra running back when he does take the ball and slice up defenses. So that's hard for defensive coordinators to account for him because it's just an extra guy you just don't have. Mark Ingram is running the ball at an alarming rate. So it's just hard to concentrate on all these guys running the ball. And then when you go on the defense side of the ball, they're vets. Earl Thomas played in the big game before. Marcus Peters played in the big game before. Jimmy Smith is a vet. You got Brandon Carr coming off the bench who's in year 11 or year 12. So they have a veteran defense that can get after that's not going to be shy in a big moment in the playoffs. So, I mean, they're looking like the favorite right now.
What's the MO on Marcus Peters? Because he, whenever he got there, added something special to that defense. Now, last week, I think first half, he kind of stumbled a little bit. They were kind of exposing him a little bit in the run game and some other things. But then the second half, he was locked down again. What is the MO on Marcus Peters, and what should people know about him as a corner?
That's Marcus Peters. You don't pay him to be all-the-time corner that's going to come up in the run support or just be glued to his receiver the whole game. He's going to give up plays, but he's going to get you the ball. He's going to have teams scared to throw at him. He almost reminds you of Asante Samuels. Asante Samuels didn't want to tackle. He might give up a play here and there, but when you need that ball, man, Marcus Peters is going to bring it to you. And if you give Lamar Jackson an extra possession, that might be the key of wins and losses, when it comes to the playoffs.
Okay, so is that because he's a gambler? Is that why? Or why is it because why does he sometimes give up plays and sometimes he can get the ball?
It's hard to call him a gambler because 90% of the time he gets it right. I just think he's a smart player like a Richard Sherman, and he's not scared to just take that risk moment. He'll be in man coverage, and the quarterback will see man across the board, and his receivers will run a takeoff route, but he'll come off on a slot receiver running a corner route. He just knows where the quarterback is going with the ball. He's a ball hawk. He's going to go after the ball all the time. So it's not even really gambling. He just knows what plays to make and when to make them.
What's the storyline in the NFL right now that you're intrigued by? It could be Jason Garrett still the head coach, but the NFC East absolutely stinks. They're still in control of their entire destiny. Could be Mitchell Trubisky last night playing great for the first time. Could be anything. What's your favorite storyline going in the NFL right now?
My favorite storyline right now has to be the Dallas Cowboys. Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to get rid of Jason Garrett? It's just a lot going on in Dallas because most people feel like you should fire Jason Garrett. That might give the team some kind of bounce. They have no energy right now. Once one thing happens, it's just their whole team deflates. Maybe if you promote the D coordinator, the head coach, guys might rally around and get these 2 wins later on.
Oh, you're saying do it right now.
Right now. I mean, they have to me, they have nothing in Dallas that'll keep them going on saying we can turn our season around right now. Oh. They might make the playoffs because Philly is playing horrible, but they're going to be a one and done as of right now. If you fire the head coach, I was a part of when Todd Haley got fired. I mean, I like Todd Haley as a head coach, but when Romeo Cornell was the head coach, he got promoted from defensive coordinator to head coach. We played the undefeated Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers. And we just rallied around Romeo because he was just a great guy. The defense loved him. We was like, this your shot to be a head coach. We're going to prove to you that we'll rally around you. We love you. And it gave us some kind of spunk at the end of the season just to get some games under our belt and win. I think we might have lost 1 game out of the last 4 in the season. I just feel like, I know Jerry Jones won't do it because he's so loyal, but they need something in Dallas that's going to kick them in the butt and let them know they do have a good team that can make a run.
You know what's interesting? Because the head coach has to speak in front of the team every single day. Sometimes your words can wear thin on a team, especially after 9 years of kind of mediocrity. That is something to think about, that, hey, if you really do, which Jerry Jones said, I'm still focused on going to the Super Bowl, I'm still focused on winning games. If you do, after watching last night, it seems like you need to bring a spark to that team somehow, and that is an interesting way to do it. I think, by the way, you're the first person saying, like, hey, they need to do it right now because they need to find a spark. Everybody's like waiting for it to happen in the offseason, which is kind of what everybody's expecting. But I can definitely see like the advantages of getting rid of him right now.
Think about it. You've been in the locker room if you had a losing season when everything gets repetitive. And what can you say to the players right now that's going to give them momentum? And if you're going to get rid of Jason Garrett after the season, you have to try anything to try to get this season a ring on your finger if you can. I mean, I just don't see how it benefits you if you know you're going to get rid of them after the season on just keeping them and just letting this season just play out the way it's playing.
Hey, Brandon, what do you do outside of media down there in Florida?
You know, I just do a lot of real estate, commercial real estate. I'm a real estate blue collar guy, man. I'm trying to build me an app right now. I mean, that's the kind of guy I am. But I'm starting a 7-on-7 team right now because, you know, South Florida loaded with talent. You know, 7-on-7 is big down here. I'm starting a 7-on-7 team down here, and we're going to go light up some college camps and get these kids the best offers they can get. So that's what I'm going to start this year. But other than that, I'm a blue collar guy, man. I'm a real estate app guy.
Hey, I don't know if an app is a blue collar guy.
It is. I mean, it's turning to apps going to be the new thing in this world, man. Everything is going to apps and, you know, computer technology, and that's what the world is going to. So it's going to be a
What's your app going to be? What's your app? What's your app?
Oh, it's under construction right now. I'm keeping it under wraps.
Oh!
Hey, when it drop, I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know, but I got to keep it under wraps right now.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, he's a Pro Bowler, played in the NFL for a long time, blue-collar guy, Brandon Flowers. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
All right, we got to get to a break. On the other side, we'll hit the phones, and we'll wrap this thing up. It's 11:45 Eastern Standard Time on a feel-good Friday. We can't thank you enough for listening, watching, wherever you are. Let's close this thing out in beautiful fashion, shall we? Zito, what's the quote board say?
Go Bears!
Says Mike Ditka. We'll be back on the other side. You listen to Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, 1150. Word out of Dallas is that Jerry Jones is not happy in his local interviews. They had to dump it because Jerry was letting the BS word fly around. FCC not happy. Jerry Jones on 1053 The Fan, we're on your side, said, do you understand? Bullish, he says, to the host, I guess. That's how he feels about the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe what Brandon Flowers just said is potentially going to happen. Maybe Jason Garrett's about to get run out of town. We shall see. Let's go through the phones here before we get out of here. Let's go to Dylan in Pittsburgh. What up, Dylan?
Hey, Pat. Long-time listener, long-time Yenzer. How's it going?
Hey, sounds good. What do you want to talk about, Dylan?
Hey, I wanted your opinion. Who do you think gets in between the Titans and the Steelers? With old Duck Hodges, do the Steelers have what it takes? Or are they due for a trap game? Personally, I think we could lose to the Jets or the Cards. But with the flex to the schedule, I think we steamroll the Bills due to it being cold, prime time, a lot of towels, and a lot of renegade.
I can respect that. The Titans got the Texans twice here. Texans are a very good team. Who knows how that's going to play out, but the Titans are very hot. Tannehill got out from underneath Gase and has become a superstar for the Tennessee Titans, saving their season. Duck Hodges, everybody's thinking that they're not going to win against the Cardinals, which almost makes me feel like they probably are going to win against the Cardinals, but he got a couple of tough schedules for both of them. I'll be excited to see who fights it out there.
Situation where they normally get relaxed, but I think this team realizes that they cannot get relaxed.
Sure. They haven't been able to relax. That's why Tomlin's up for Coach of the Year, by the way. That team has been able to play every single week no matter who's out there slinging the rock, even if the guy gets hit in the head with his own helmet. Clayton in Pennsylvania, what's up, dude?
Hey, Pat. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Happy holidays, everyone.
Okay.
Zito, you're the real MVP. I want to talk NFC East and how bad they all stink. I do not think it's going to be the Cowboys simply because of the NFC East curse. It hasn't been since 2004 when the Eagles did it twice in a row. 15 years dry. What do you think?
Oh, I appreciate that. I like that a lot. Somebody hasn't won back-to-back NFC East division championships for 15 years?
NFC South was like that for a long time, too. I didn't realize the East was.
I didn't know that. I believe in curses 100%. Some witch went in there and said it. You guys are all going to stink, but you ain't going to stink for 2 times in a row. Matt in Kalamazoo, great city. What's going on?
Hey, question is, if the Badgers end up beating Ohio State, does the playoff committee let a Big Ten team into the playoffs? And then just a quick comment. Gave in, got myself a Manscaped razor with your code, and just like you, I'm now hairless from the waist down.
We appreciate that. By the way, if you want to call in and do a plug for one of our sponsors, very, very okay. We like that a lot. It is that proprietary technology where you don't nick or snag your nuts is something that is absolutely beautiful. If the Wisconsin Badgers get a win over Ohio State, I do not believe the way it is set up right now that 2 Big Ten schools will get in. I believe Ohio State will still get in.
Yes,
by the way.
correct.
And which is something, I guess.
Ohio State, LSU in.
Yes.
I think.
I think so, too. Let's go to Robert in New York. What up, Robert?
What's going on, Pat? How you doing?
Hey, I'm not too bad over there. What's going on?
Not much. What I wanted to bring up was the connection between Dave Gettleman and Ron Rivera and his possibility of him going to the New York Giants next year.
Okay.
What do you think?
A lot of people are saying New York Giants. A lot of people are saying potential. Now, granted, everybody that has a coaching potential vacancy has said that Ron Rivera should come there. But let's not get crazy here. Eli Manning is about to get hot once again. Let's not just assume that Eli Manning is going to be deciding who the next coach is for the New York Giants. Danny Dimes might be a backup again after Eli throws for 500 on Monday night against the Eagles.
And there's nothing that shows that Gettleman can make a good decision. So
True. But they do have ties together, which means that you're comfortable with somebody, which is a big deal in a relationship that you're signing up for. But I think Ron Rivera is going to have his picking of where he wants to go. It's potentially going to be the Cowboys within the next week from the way Jerry Jones is speaking on 1053 The Fan right now. He is not happy. His team stinks. Tyler in Grand Rapids, back-to-back Michigan calls. What's going on?
Boys, how you doing?
Well, that was New York, I guess. You get it. What's going on? How's it going, Tyler?
No, you're good. So, quick question for you. Notre Dame, obviously, everybody hates them. No big deal. Will they, within the next 5 to 10 years, win, anything significant?
Tyler. Tyler.
Great calls all week, and we're going to end with that.
Oh, Gumpy.
Come on.
Gumpy, that's your fault that happened.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
I think, they got a good 2023 sophomore class coming in that could possibly do it.
Well, and the thing about the 2025 class that they've already recruited with their new head coach that's going to be there within the next year or two, those guys, They're game changers.
Studs.
They're program changers. And whenever they get on the field and they get loose, they are a buzzsaw, much like that LSU offense has been and Ohio State has been. Anyways, great Feel Good Friday. Great week. We can't thank everybody enough for listening, watching, and joining us. You're the absolute greatest. Have the best week in your life. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Hey, Steven, thank you, bub.